Truth be told, I could use the company.
Okay. What the hell?
1 second. Damn,
Getting help. This was your idea. You did this.
Days of Our Lives ends up at number 5 in my soap opera rankings for December 2022. This is the highest it's been in a long time. Honestly, I think this is the highest it's been since the first month I started doing this. I dropped it ever since then, and it deserved all those drops because Ron's writing for the past year has been absolutely absurd, and it still is absolutely absurd. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I do feel like Days of Our Lives and Hollyoaks have a lot of things in common where they have too much going on and just one too many bad storylines going on, not enough good stuff. Although I do feel like, with both shows, they both kind of throw a lot of ideas out there. And I feel like for the past year on both shows, most of those ideas have been bad ideas. I kind of feel like maybe Ron is starting to have a little bit more good ideas. Still not enough. I still feel like he has more bad ideas than good ideas. But there is more positives to talk about with Days right now. Let's talk about the good story. I said this in the Hollyoaks video. I'll say it in this one. I do feel like Hollyoaks and Days and the fourth place show, the middle shows all have something in common this month for December. They all at least have one good storyline. Most of the other stories on the show, not good, but at least they all have one good storyline. The one good storyline on Days of Our Lives, in my opinion, was the whole Eric and Nicole stuff. I wish they would have kept Jada a part of that stuff, but they kind of dropped the ball with Jada for the month. We did not get enough of her point of view. But we had Nicole and Eric fighting about Nicole being the one urging Jada to have an abortion, and then she goes through with that abortion. And Nicole, of course, just plays the victim in that argument with Eric, because that's all Nicole ever does is play the victim. And she tries to turn the blame on Jada in that argument. She tries to turn the blame on Eric in that argument. Nicole just uses the fact that she can't have babies as a weapon in that argument. Eric's sick and Nicole, and should be. But of course, Eric turns to drinking. Eric, a recovering alcoholic, turns to drinking, and we've slowly kind of seen the descent of Eric in December kind of turn into Dark Eric, as people online are calling him. A dark turn for the character. Eric has always been the goody two-shoes, a priest at one point. So yeah, Eric becoming a darker character, kind of a good thing, because the character of Eric has kind of been boring a lot of the time. But now we see him falling apart here. He ends up hitting EJ, getting arrested for it. There was a scene with Eric and Paulina in the same jail cell there for a while, which was kind of entertaining. And I also liked the reminder that Eric is the one that killed Daniel drinking and driving, which made me happy. That makes me like Eric a whole lot more. Because as I've said a lot of times on this channel already, when talking about Days, I hated the character of Daniel Jonas. I had never hated a character more in soap operas than Daniel. So the fact that Eric is the one that killed Daniel, and I was a nice reminder of that, makes me like him so much more. Eric thinks EJ and Nicole are becoming a thing again. It seems like they ended up in bed together again, but that was more of a dream by Nicole. Instead, EJ and Nicole kind of have been on friendly terms over the past month, and I think that is part of another reason why this storyline is working for both Nicole and Eric. I think Nicole and EJ kind of taking things slow, that it's kind of a slow build to those two kissing on New Year's Eve. I thought that worked. I liked it. I also like that Eric is sleeping with Sloane. I'm still iffy on the character of Sloane overall, but I do think Eric and Sloane actually have chemistry, similar to EJ and Nicole having chemistry. That's what you need for a couple on a soap opera. You need them to have chemistry. And I think both of these couples have chemistry. So Eric and Nicole going their separate ways after the argument. It all fit the characters. And we even get Eric wanting to come up with this plan with Brady to kidnap Rachel from Kristen, since Kristen is blackmailing Brady to be able to move in with him and Marlena and John. This is Eric's way of, I guess, wanting to get back on Kristen, back at Kristen. It's a bit extreme, especially for a character like Eric, who's always been a goody two-shoes, like I said. But yeah, I've liked the Eric stuff. I've liked the Nicole stuff overall. Still hate the Kristen stuff for the most part, though. The whole situation, it's so contrived and ridiculous. The character of Kristen's just ridiculous. I think Kristen was once a great villain for this show, no longer is, though. I think she's just a cartoon at this point, and I've said many times how I feel about cartoon villains on soap operas. I can like them once in a while, but mostly they're over the top and ridiculous, and Kristen is long over the top and ridiculous, and I don't think the recast helps any as well. So we'll see what comes of Eric kidnapping Rachel. That's how the year ended. That was the last episode I watched of Days, was Kristen discovering that Rachel is gone. Let's get to some of these other stories that I don't like at all. The Leo and Sunny stuff is fast forward material for me because it doesn't fit the character of Sunny at all. It also doesn't fit anything we saw of the Sunny character on the little spinoff Beyond Salem. It was Will making excuses for Leo at times, but Sunny, of course, the one who knew that he was just bad news. But now it's reversed, that Sunny and Leo are somehow growing close, even though Leo drugged him and made it seem like they slept together. I hate it. I think it's killing the character of Sunny, which has been a big problem for Ron's writing this year. He's writing stories that are hurting characters on the show, and I mean, what more can I say? I've talked about it a lot. I'm sick of Ron on the show. The show needs a new head writer. It just does. It just does. The whole Bonnie and Xander stuff and the clown mask. I'm so sick of seeing the clown mask. Yeah, I haven't been a big fan of that at all. And I don't care about the Xander and Sarah relationship. So all of this drama of Xander being found out by Sarah that he turned back to some bad ways, it's hard for me to care. And doubly for the character of Gwen. Can't stand Gwen. She is a fail of a character. If they would make her more of a villain all the time instead of trying to half-ass redeem her sometimes, maybe she would be better. But yeah, it's a total fail of a character from Ron and Gwen. And he's going to keep trying to shove her down our throats, because that's what he does when he fails, is he still tries to make it work. It's not working. It's a fail. Ava's plan with the bomb at Susan's funeral was just over the top. It only got Ava off the show and nobody else. I kind of wanted the bomb to kill more characters, because some of these characters we can do without them. We could use a little less characters on Days, although I'm sure Ron would have made the wrong decision on who to kill off and who not. But I thought the bomb was way over the top, and of course nobody even gets that injured. And Marlena and Kayla have been sick lately, and yet they're not even that injured from a bomb explosion. It was for nothing, really. And speaking of for nothing, the Chanel and Sloane and Paulina story just kind of wrapped up out of nowhere. It just petered out of nowhere. No real climax. I'm sure we'll have more to it, maybe, but also maybe not. I felt like that was a nothing story. Instead of actually making Chanel and Allie more interesting, which I think they need to do, they made a major mistake dropping the whole throuple situation, because I feel like they could have gotten more drama out of that with Johnny and Allie and Chanel. But they dropped it, and now we got a nothing story for Chanel and Paulina here. They got to do better with that, because that was just... seriously, it was a nothing story. As you see, I have more stories to go here with Days. That's why I compared it to Hollyoaks. There's just too much going on. Way too many stories at once. and most of them aren't good, and that's just not something I enjoy to watch. We have Johnny and Wendy kind of still being close. I don't hate those two of us as a couple, but I don't love it either. We have Rafe and Jada teased as a couple. I've kind of liked that they gave Rafe a personality with how much he has complained about Nicole, and he kind of is bitter about Nicole in that whole situation. And Rafe actually having a personality for once, it's like the first time since Rafe's been on the show. And Rafe's been on this show for like 15 years. And this is the first time I've ever actually enjoyed him for a few episodes. So maybe the whole Rafe and Jada relationship can actually work. But that remains to actually be seen if that's where they're going. I liked Eli returning for Christmas, but the fact that Lonnie's still in prison is stupid and depressing. It was self-defense, but Ron's writing sucks, yet Gwen is out of prison. We don't want it, we don't need it, but we have it, and I hate it. Lastly, on Christmas, also Abby appeared to Chad. I guess it was something to do for Christmas. Abby should have never been killed off in the first place, though. So it just made me remember how much that story sucked and how badly Ron wrote a whodunit for Abby's murder. That overall, most of these stories still suck. It's really all I have to say for Days. If Home and Away had aired in December, Days would be in 6th place. But since there's only 9 soap operas to rank in December, it moves up, which seems like a good spot, to 5th place. I still think the show overall, it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of writing changes. But we don't have that yet. We still have Ron, and Ron's going to be around for a while, and I kind of know a little bit of possible spoilers for January and February, and I think it's going to be totally over-the-top nonsense from Ron again. So, not really looking forward to it.